at this point, you've made it through the blue belt blues. You didn't quit. You stayed competitive, and you're into the upper side of this thing. I'd love to get your just thoughts on belts in general. But first, when you look back to those white belt days, if you had to kind of, from the eyes of Jared, the experienced purple belt, give yourself maybe like 3 pieces of advice that anyone else listening to this could kind of take away as things to implement into their day to day or just their approach to jujitsu in general, what would you recommend yourself do?
That's a good question. I've never been asked that actually. The first thing I'd definitely say is it's easy as like a competitor or someone who really wants to grow to always be looking at what you need to learn next and
Mhm.
what you're not doing good enough and this and that. And it's kind of draining, you know? And I kind of learned over time, you need that mindset in a sense of never being satisfied. You always have to
Right.
be finding the smallest holes in your game that are making you not compete at the highest level. But if you can also at the same time, because I look back and I'm like, I was so stressed out at white belt, needing to improve and bridge the gap since I started late. And I think you can do both. You can enjoy the experience, but also try to learn at the same time. So I try to tell myself to enjoy the experience. You know, you're only a white belt for, I was a white belt for 8 months. So it goes
Yeah.
by like quick. And each stage goes by fast and each one's different in its own sense. So I'd say definitely enjoy the experience more. Easier said than
Yeah,
done when you're getting choked out. The
for sure.
second thing I'd say is probably that we look at a lot of these athletes and you almost think they're like a superhuman, you know, like
Mhm.
they were gifted or they started so early or whatever it is. And once I came to Atos and I realized I'm doing the same work that the best athletes in the world are doing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm dedicated like my whole life, and I was wondering like why, kind of like why can't I have the same results as them? And
Mhm.
over time, I kind of proved to myself that you can achieve just as much as a lot of these athletes that you put on a pedestal. There's nothing like special about me at all, you know? Like I just
Right.
work super hard. So I guess whatever your goal is, it's more realistic than it actually seems. And
Yeah.
if you want to achieve something, then just look at what the best people are doing and do the same thing and try to put even more effort and smarter effort. That's the
Mhm.
second point. Um, the third thing,
And this is always the most important one because the other 2 come easy, right? It's always the first 2 things that we
that's
think of
true.
that are like just bam, bam, but it's the third one that's like the thinker.
Hmm,
Where you kind of got to dig a little bit.
I'm digging. Let me think. I think I think the third one actually, this is kind of weird saying, but I feel this one is I put so much emphasis on just like competing and improving so much, but also
Mhm.
I think one of the biggest gifts of jujitsu is like the community that you meet. Like I've met some of my best friends there. I've
Yeah.
learned more about how to improve as a person, um, just be kinder to people. And I think there's a lot of good people in jujitsu. So I
Yeah.
think also put, you know, emphasis and effort into getting to know more people in the gym, socializing more, creating more like relationships in the gym. Because I think that's where I've grown and found like the most happiness from jujitsu. It's not just competing and trying to win the most. It's more the people you meet and then get to do the whole journey with. That would be the third one.